Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Natalie and today I will be bringing you a book haul. So I've got a few different categories for this book haul. I'm just going to mention them as I go along. The first one is the library books I've recently taken out. I don't care, it's been a long day and I'm tired. So the first book I got from the library was All the Space Between Worlds by Micaiah Johnson. I have seen this in a lot of places, namely on other booktubers channels, and I absolutely loved the sound of it. So I took it out and I really hope that it lives up to expectations. I mean, I've heard a lot of good stuff. This book follows our main character, and this is a sci-fi book, I think it's classed as, where you are able to jump to parallel worlds in this book. However, you are only able to jump to the worlds where you are already dead in. Our main character can jump to, I think it's 360 worlds, because she is dead in all those worlds. However, after she visits one world in particular, she starts realizing that someone is killing off different versions of her, and I think this is a mystery novel to find out why she's being killed and who's doing it. Like I said, the premise seems great. I've heard great things about it. I cannot wait to read it. The next library book I got out was Tinder by Sally Gardner. Again, I watched a couple of YouTubers who were mentioning this and it seemed really fascinating, so I decided to take a chance and take it out from my library. And from the sounds of it, I think this is a paranormal novel. I'm not really sure, the synopsis doesn't really give it away, but it's about our main character who escapes death or is brought back from the dead, something along those lines, and they then have to figure out what the hell is going on. So I'm really looking forward to this. This also has some amazing illustrations in it, so I am really looking forward to that. Yeah, so I'm such a child. I love a good illustration in a book. Next, I'm going to go over the books I bought, and these books I bought for a specific video idea I'm going to be doing maybe in a month, maybe in a couple of months, I don't know. It's just an idea I have in my head. So the first book is Tooth and Claw by Jo Walton. This book sounds really weird. I'm going to read you what one person has reviewed it as. And this person's reviewed it as the Pride and Prejudice of the Dragon World. What? So this is basically about a world full of dragons, and we follow this one dragon family who, their father has just died, and it's about the siblings trying to work around this and trying to find their places now that their dad is no longer there. So that's all I know about it. I think the Pride and Prejudice element comes from the daughter's relationship, maybe. I don't know. Like I said, it's got me intrigued, but it sounds weird. But that's got me more intrigued. Do you see where I'm coming from? The next one is a book collection I got. There are 5 books in this series. They're all quite short, which I am thankful for, and I have never read any of them. So the first one is, we've got Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, The Restaurant at the End of the Universe, Life, the Universe and Everything, So Long and Thanks for All the Fish, which I think is my favourite title ever, and last we have Mostly Harmless, and these are all by Douglas Adams. So these are some classic sci-fi books which I have never read, and I only know about through references from other things, so we'll see how I get on with those. And the last book we have in this category is Spindle's End, A Tale of Magic and Adventure by Robin McKinley, and this is a retelling of Sleeping Beauty. Why did my mind go blank then? My brain was just thinking, which one is it that gets pricked? Moving on. The next load of books I just bought because I heard a lot of things about them, I wanted to read them, and they all sound amazing. Some of them I've been waiting to get my hands on for a very long time. So the first one we have is Fresh Water by Akwaeke Emezi. And Akwaeke Emezi is a very beloved author. I have never read anything of theirs before. I don't know if I could do it justice if I had to explain it myself, so I'm going to read off of the back. Ada has always been unusual. Her parents prayed her into existence, but something must have gone awry. Their troubled child begins to develop separate selves and is prone to fits of anger and grief. When Ada grows up and heads to college in America, a traumatic event crystallizes the selves into something more powerful. As she fades into the background of her own mind, these alters, now protective, now hedonistic, take control, shifting her life in a dangerous direction. This book just sounds so amazing, and that synopsis there is why I want to read it. The next one is a book that I ordered online, and I'm not gonna lie, it's much bigger than I thought it was, so that was a bit of a shock to the system when it came. But that is A Girl is a Body of Water by Jennifer Nansumga Makumbi. I am sure I have butchered that name, I am so sorry. I did look at how to pronounce all these names, but my brain is like a sieve. Also, I've just looked under the dust jacket and hello, this is amazing. I don't know why I didn't look under the dust jacket. Usually I make it a point to look under there because some people's books are just gorgeous. And I didn't with this one, and I am pleasantly surprised now. And from what I can gather from this book is about our main character, and they are wondering who their mother is. They don't know who they are, and they're trying to work out who their history is, and also trying to work through these feelings of abandonment that they have. They also begin spending time with the local witch, a witch, I'm not sure, and they are trying to get answers to questions. I believe this is mainly about working out who your family is, who you are, how your ancestors and where you came from can affect you. There is a lot of storytelling by the sound of it going on in this book because her and witch share different stories from the past. So I am really looking forward to this book. Again, this is one I've heard so many good things about and can't wait to jump into. The next one I actually picked up the one time I've been brave enough to go outside and go into a bookshop. And not gonna lie, this was a complete cover / title buy, and that is The Girl and the Goddess by Nikita Gill. And firstly, that is what drew me in. That cover is gorgeous. The end pages are also very pretty as well. But this is a poetry collection. So this is a poetry collection, and it's almost told in a story-like format where each poem is relevant to the one before, and each one tells a story and stage of growth in our main character. Like I said, I mainly bought it for a cover buy, but it does sound like the inside is going to be just as amazing as the outside. That's what I'm hoping anyway, so we shall see. The next two books I have are by the same author. One I have been wanting to read for the last year or so, and I finally got around to picking it up, and that is Coffee Boy by Austin Chant. Austin Chant has been on my radar for a while to pick up a book from. I absolutely love the sound of this. This one is about a boy who has an internship and is kind of in love with the boss of the internship. But with this internship, there is also another person who is an intern, and they don't really get along. They are bickering, they this one person, just other intern, just does not like him. But then once this other intern starts to show their softer and more understanding side, our main character then begins to fall for him instead. This sounds like it's just going to be a very cute romancy book. It's a very short book. It is 151 pages, so very short. So I think this is going to be a very cute, fun, beautiful book, and I cannot wait for it. I'm going to have to pick this up maybe when I'm feeling a little bit down, although maybe one of you can tell me if that's actually what this book is about. It is also worth noting Austen Chant is also a trans author. Sticking with Austen Chant, we have got Peter Darling, and this is a trans retelling of Peter Pan, where Peter Pan actually used to be Wendy Darling and then he transitioned into Peter. Peter has left Neverland for quite a few years and is now all grown up and an adult himself. He then comes back to Neverland as an adult and begins to have a romance with Captain Hook. This honestly sounds wonderful. Austen Chant released this, it must have been years ago, 2017 I want to say, was when he first released this book. Or at the very least when I heard about it. And I wanted to read it ever since I heard about it, but it wasn't in print anymore by the time I got round to trying to purchase it, and I was so sad. I kept checking and checking and checking, and eventually it just fell off my radar. And I think I was buying Coffee Boy, and that's when I remembered about Peter Darling, and I thought, on an off chance, I'm just gonna look, see, and it was there, and they have republished it in 2021. And it's been reprinted, and I cannot be happier that I now have my hands on this and I can now finally read it. Also, the covers of both Austen Chant's books, very different energies, but both extremely pretty. The next book I have is Treasure of Folklore, Woodlands and Forests. This is going to be awkward because I don't have my glasses on and it's getting darker and darker and darker. It doesn't seem it on camera, but it is a lot darker than it looks. This book is by Dee Cheney and Willow Winsham. I hope I've got those names right. Again, pretty much a cover buy because this is gorgeous. And it's also gorgeous on the back as well. And this is a book just full of short stories of folklore and fairy tales, kind of like a Brothers Grimm-esque book. And this also has amazing illustrations on it. Like, that one is quite creepy. Can you see like the hands coming out of the ground? And which one was the other? And this one. So, book about fairy tales, folklore. I absolutely love a good fairy tale, and I love reading folklores and folklores from other countries. They are some of my favourite things to read. So yeah, really happy I bought this one and happy I picked it up. And while a tiny bit of my sanity remains, I have one last book to talk about. This again is a book I have heard so much about from BookTube, BookTwitter, Bookstagram, you name it. I have seen it in some form of the book community, and that is My Dark Vanessa by Katie Elizabeth Russell. I'm not too sure about this cover. There is... Oh, I get it now. Okay, I was about to say, I don't really get this cover because it's meant to be a very dark story. There is another cover which has a woman's face on it and it's in black and white and it's frankly gorgeous. I kind of get it now. This front one is like a wavy red hair spilling down the cover, and then on the back the hair is tied into a... I don't know what that's called. I can't remember what that hairstyle is called. Please shout at me in the comments and let me know. Plait! That's what it's on my... Okay, I need to end this video. I'm going to tell you what this is about quickly and then I'm going to go. This is a very dark book and it follows our main character who is in her 30s, and they have just heard that one of their old teachers has been accused of sexual abuse by another former student. I think it was a student she was also at school with, and she is incredibly angry and defensive over this because while she was a student in that same school, she actually also had an affair with this teacher. Sorry, my camera cut off there. That is a sign that I need to go. Where was I? So yeah, when she was a student at that school, she also had a relationship with this teacher, and she's very angry and defensive because what she looks at it as she sees it as her first relationship. She doesn't see it as abuse at all. She believes that her and this teacher were in love, and she's angry at this person for saying that it was abuse. However, I believe as the story goes on, we start to see her mind shift and change and start to analyse it. I believe there is some backwards and forwardsness in this book, so we get to see her as an actual student as well as for her now. I am, it sounds weird to say looking forward to reading this book, but it just sounds so fascinating, and it's a lens we don't often see. So we often see the lens of someone who has been abused, who, you know, is recovering from that trauma, but we don't often see the lens of the people who are only just starting to realise that what they experienced was abuse and trauma. So this is going to be really interesting to read. Obviously it is a very delicate subject matter. I personally have no experience of that, so I will not be the person to say how well it's done or isn't written, but I am curious to see this, and I'm also curious to see some other reviews on this book. Okay, that is it. Thank you all for watching. It's been a long one. My brain's a mess. I'm gonna go. If you liked anything that you saw, which I don't know why you would, but please like this video, subscribe down below, leave a comment to let me know some books you've recently bought or a favourite you've recently bought. I would love to know. Or indeed, if you have read any of the books I have shown you today, then let me know what your opinions were and what you thought. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.